You're so vain. You probably think the song is about you. You're so vain. Probably think the song is about you. Oh, you. Man, I just needed you back to not suck. Welcome to the Daily Grind. It's Thursday. If you couldn't tell, it's later in the week because my songs aren't as poopy and because I have Rusty with me. How are you, brother? It's good to have you back.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to be back. Sorry about missing yesterday, but just it was a wild week, man. Glad to be back home in the 901. Had a great time with Maggie. If you want to see, check out Twitter at Buckets_BCM. Posted a picture of Boone this morning. He's a rock star. She's a rock star. It was a good week, man, but I'm glad to be back on the Daily Grind.
Hell yeah, man. And it's nice too because you left me with Uncle Buck yesterday and I didn't know what to do with my hands.
Sorry.
I didn't know what to do. I had to talk about Heisman candidates. And I didn't even, I got to do that poll. Yeah, sure. But we got a lot to talk about today. I mean, like right before we hopped on, or I guess it was an hour ago, maybe we talked about this all week. We might talk about it more as we figure out what's going on, but looks like Derrick Rose is retiring after 15 NBA seasons, youngest MVP in NBA history. Quote, "The next chapter is about chasing my dreams and sharing my growth." That last part's pretty interesting, I think. Sharing my growth. I just would love for him to stay as a coach here.
Nothing would make me happier, man, than to watch him kind of like take Ja under his wing and continue to develop him because, you know, their game is so similar. They're undersized, but super explosive, above the rim type players with MVP caliber talent. I think Ja's injuries and some off the court stuff are probably the only reasons he hasn't had an MVP season, but it's on deck. I got Ja plus 900 in ESPN bet to win it this year. Plus 2,500 to win it this year. But I think that it's brewing, and I think D Rose can be what gets him over the hump just because he's been there. He knows what it takes. Obviously, he won an MVP, but Luke, he will always be one of those guys to me that's like one of those what if players. Like, what if his knees had held up? What if he'd never gotten hurt?
Yep. Back when I drank heavily, I used to get like couple shots in and just anybody who would listen, I'd be like, let me tell you about Derrick Rose. He would have been the best MVP. I would just say, they'd be like, Jesus, dude, okay, we get it. And it happened like every time.
Can we get a water over here, please?
Yeah, this guy needs a burger and a water. I know it's Monday at noon. It's fine. Get him over here. The what if show, the Marvel what if show, I would watch a whole season about Derrick Rose. He's the what if player.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. He's just like, the talent and the potential was just unbelievable. Those Chicago years early, just watching him jump over dudes 2 times his size was just wild to me. And then, you couldn't script it better. Maybe throw a championship in there as a player, but to watch his player arc start in Memphis, come full circle and finish in Memphis, to me, the only next logical step is a Tayshaun Prince type move where you go from the Grizzlies bench to the Grizzlies front office. We're one of the best franchises in sports. We talked about this in a text thread, you and I. We're not, 11 years removed from being voted the best franchise in all of sports, according to ESPN. And so why not learn to be a coach and cut your teeth with a team that has a championship on the horizon?
Yep. Well said. It's D Rose is just someone that means so much to this city. Seeing him stay here would just be great. Yeah. Another player that means so much to this city is Tony Allen. T-A. And we got Wayno feels a way about this.
Wayno's just trying to get uninvited to the cookout, man. Come on, bro. Like, we like you, Wayno. Like, you've been on our show. We like you, bro. But around here, we don't besmirch the great TA. That's first team all defense. We don't talk bad about TA.
Yep, because I've been waiting. I'm buying tickets to this game today. Like, I know you and Uncle Buck already got you. Like, I've been looking forward to this ever since they started retiring. When they retired Zebo's jersey, I was like, you know what? That means Tony's coming. And I'm just really like, can you think of someone that is there one of these? Well, okay, so Zach Randolph might be my favorite Grizzly of all time.
All time.
After Zebo, is there anybody on? I mean, grit and the grind, father, man. It's in his name, the grit and the grind. There's no one that has done that dirty work like Tony Allen here. Like, ever.
And that's why like for me, my hierarchy is Zebo, Mark, TA, like that order for me, because I was just love Big Spain. And so, which is why I got like, I'm comfortable admitting between you and all of our friends here that I was a bit emotional when they retired Mark and Zebo's jersey. Like that kind of got me. But here's the thing, like, and I'm going to put this up here. I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to put this up here.
Yeah, do it.
Each franchise has a player that to other teams, it's probably not going to make sense. But for somebody who was in the building for most of those core 4 games, particularly the Western Conference final year, it matters because TA's energy, his hustle, his play. Yes, Wayno, he was probably going to miss most of his shots. One of my favorite Twitter interactions was, Luke, I don't know if you remember, but back in 2012, they did a big campaign across the city where they plastered the guys on the sides of buildings and those big. Well, I was a PT student at the time, and I was at used to be Health South. Now it's like the Methodist Inpatient Rehab on Union. Anyway, on the side of the Southern College of Optometry building, they had a giant TA. And I took a picture of it and tweeted and said, "Hey, TA, great pick, but we both know you probably missed that layup." And he liked it on Twitter. And I'm like, oh. But like his energy, his hustle, you nailed it, Luke. He did the little things well. He hustled like nobody else. Like he didn't want to be the guy known for getting you 25 and 10. He wanted to be the guy that, as he said, had to call MLG and W and cut your water off. Like he wanted to be in KD's head and Kobe Bryant's head. And when you're on KD and Kobe Bryant's short list of players that you do not want to face because you got that dog mentality, number 9 belongs in the rafters. Absolutely.
I was gonna say, like, I'll throw this from Uncle Buck. This is a great example of what we're talking about. People that
absolutely
that do everything else but get you 30. And there's someone like every one of the guys, when you go through like a pyramid or your pyramid list, anything of the top players of the last 25 years, I would say like everyone has Tony Allen in like their top 5 dudes I did not want to play against. Like all of them, every single one was like, I didn't want to play Tony Allen. Didn't want to.
That's a huge reason why that jersey belongs in the Raptors. And like, you can't ask any Grizzlies fan of those core 4 years, give me your top 10 Grizzlies all the time. And none of them will get past 5 before they mention Tony Allen. Like TA was the heart and soul of those teams. And as great as Zebo was, and as great as Mark was, and as great as Mike was, no TA, no grit grind, no TA, no Western Conference Finals. Like TA was the backbone of those teams. He was like the offensive line for those teams, right? You know, we love football. The Big Uglies get zero credit for what they do, but we see what happens. You and I both have teams who have not great offensive lines. Mississippi State, terrible offensive line, and we're trash. So you need those guys that are unheralded, that are going to get those hustle points and get those things. And to me, as a guy who, you know, I mean, I played sports, but I wasn't the most athletic kid ever. Like to see somebody that goes out and just gets after it and does the hustle things well, to me, 9 will always belong in the Raptors. To us. Now, to New Orleans fans or Dallas fans or Golden State fans, yeah, it probably doesn't make sense. But you ain't us, right? I don't know. To me, it makes total sense that he's there.
The easiest way for I feel like to explain it is we're talking about the list that we just said where 13 years ago, 11 years ago, the Grizzlies were voted the number 1 franchise in all of sports. The reason the fans are a big reason of that, but the reason that franchise became so well known and well thought of is because of the core 4, because of Zach Randolph, Mike Conley, Tony Allen, and Big Spain. And you can't. They're 4. It's not the core 3.
You can't. That's it. You can't take one out.
You just can't. You just like you can't. The franchise that was considered the number 1 franchise in all of sports because of 4 players. All 4 numbers have to, even if it's they'll be in the Raptors. They'll be in the Raptors. Even if it's just like it's like when they give you people get so mad when actors are 80 million years old and they win an Oscar when they should have won one. Like Al Pacino should have won an Oscar for The Godfather 2 and he won 40 years later. It's like the rest of the league just should view it as obligatory. Oh, the core 4, obviously. Like obviously. Like I get that they're not going to, but the core 4 were huge for basketball. for what it meant for small market basketball teams. And because of that, all four should be retired. And I saw this. What about Mike Connolly? The reason Connolly's number isn't retired yet is because he's still playing.
Still playing.
As
soon as he retires, 11's going up there too. As it should, because Mike was your quarterback. He was your point guard. Mark was your second quarterback. He was the most cerebral and smartest of the guys. Z-Bo was your bruiser. They could get those ugly points and do what needed to be done in the mud.
Wrestler.
And TA was that dog that's just like again, man, he started defending you when he got off the bus. He never got tired. And to me, it kind of wrap it all up is like, it may not mean much to the league at large, but it means the world to the city of Memphis. TA is a Memphis guy, right? Like he's still here. He's on the Chris Vernon show. He's at games. He's still doing stuff for the city. Like he's a Memphis guy. To steal from Z-Bo, he was a blue collar player, and this is a blue collar town. And we love our own. We take care of our own here in Memphis. And so, Uncle Buck and I, we've got tickets. We'll be there. We're essentially sitting in the same spot that we sat for Mark's retirement. I was there for Z-Bo's. I was there for Mark's. I'll be there for TA's. Be there for Mike's. Man, just cannot wait because we partied with Z-Bo. That was a ton of fun having the Core Four back on stage. Can't wait to see it again on March 15th.
Who are they playing?
The Heat. It's the Heat, so it's a good game.
Yeah, it's a great game. Yep, great game. Before go to that game if you can. If you're Memphis, go to that game. That's going to be huge. We're going to transition out of basketball now because it's baseball, baby. It's baseball, the time. Baby. It's the time of the year where, and I get it, that baseball's long. It's not a lot of people's sport. Yada yada yada. It's America's pastime, in my opinion. And it's a long season, but we are in the time of year where everybody cares about baseball now. Like this is the time. This is where baseball matters now. Like even like the hunt for October. There's a reason that's like this is a postseason baseball might be like the most romantic sporting thing. You know,
it is, man.
It's so cool. Our team, we're Cubbies fans. That's what that noise was. Yeah. But
I don't want to say this out loud, Luke, but one of a good friend of mine and Drew's, Lauren Massey. Drew says this all the time. You know what Cubs stand for, right?
No.
Completely useless by September, and that's what we were this year.
God,
it hurts.
Man, the show started out so good.
I'm sorry. Sean Connery now this, man. I'm just about
man, you're killing my vibes. Hey, Wayno, I love cricket. Okay, so we're in the postseason. Let's go through the four teams that have the buys. Let's do that first because I don't think anybody's going to be surprised to hear these teams. They're like four juggernauts in baseball. The four teams with the buys, and I guess for baseball's, how many teams go to the postseason? It's
12 total. It's 6 from each side.
6 from each side, and then you get the 4 teams with the first round bye.
Yeah, you get 2 and 2, so 2 on each side. The best record American League division winners and the best record National League division winners get a bye.
Yep. So the 4 teams with buys are in the American League. It's the Yankees and the Guardians.
As of right now.
Now.
There's still a little play.
Yeah. Which is why baseball's so exciting because more so than basketball, where I feel like seeding's pretty decided by the end. Last season was a little different. Baseball goes down to the wire, man. Like seeding can be decided on the last game of the season. It's really interesting.
Most of the divisions are locked up. The only one, there's 5 games left. The Orioles could technically surpass the Yankees. They're 4 games behind. Wilder things have happened.
Yep.
But right now, you're right. So we got the Yankees and the Guardians in the American League.
And then we got the Dodgers and the Phillies in the National League. Doesn't surprise me either one there. I mean, both those National League teams have been juggernauts for like a while now. You know,
the Phillies kind of had a dip, but they've really bounced back the last 2 years, especially this year. They have been dominant. Harper's back playing like he used to, and that team is really, really good.
So extending the field from there, let's start with the AL first. The AL is the Orioles, the Royals, as of now, Orioles, Royals, Astros, and the Tigers. Which of those teams are you most excited about? Are you most surprised about? Like, what? That's an interesting field.
So I like the Orioles because they're young. Most of their players, like they put a picture up of Jackson Holliday, Matt Holliday's famous son, who plays for him now. He's 20 years old, 19 years old. And the Orioles had about a dozen bottles of 0% alcohol champagne that they could spray. It was like sparkling, water, sparkling juice, whatever.
Yeah.
Because most of their clubhouse can't even legally drink. And so they had to have non-alcoholic things to celebrate with. That team I'm excited to watch because they're ahead of schedule because they're so young. But I think the most surprising, we both agree, the Detroit Tigers.
Detroit, man, what is that?
For years. Ever since Verlander left in like 2010, they have been terrible. And looky here, we snuck into the postseason. Yeah. Even with Javi Baez.
I got a Javi Baez jersey. It's the Tigers they're one of those teams. Every time I've been looking at baseball, I've just been checking it. I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah, okay. How about that?
Because I feel like for so long they were the villains in every baseball movie because they were bad and no one liked them. And it's just like, oh, okay. It's like them and the White Sox. Yeah. I'm with you with the Orioles. That's the team that I'm excited and surprised. Like I got this. Their minor league team is their mascot's like a mermaid. I don't remember. It's a really weird. I love minor league baseball team mascots. They're bizarre.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I got to see them play the Sounds, and their hitting was incredible. Like it was a lot of their younger farm system, and it was like 13-0 in the second.
Yeah, those boys can play, man.
Yeah, and I'm intrigued. And anytime you see the Utes come in and kind of disrupt stuff, it's fun.
Yeah.
To the National League. This is growing up a Cubs fan, growing up someone where you get the Cardinals games on the radio, where you watch Braves games on TV. This is where I watch this. We have the Padres, the Mets, the Brewers, and the D-backs as of now.
Yep. There's a little bit of wiggle room here too in the standings. Like it's wild. Like if you look at the wild card standings for the AL, there are still 4 teams in play for the final 2 spots. You've got right now for the final spot, Baltimore's clinched a spot. They'll either be the division winner or the one of the playoff, the wild card teams. But you got the Royals, Tigers that are tied right now with the same record. Then you've got the Twins that are 2 games back, and the Mariners 2.5 games back. So, Luke, we could be talking about this right now, and by the time the playoffs start next week, it could be the Mariners. Like, that's the wildest thing about baseball. And in the NL, it's a 3-team race. You got the Padres who've clinched it, and then it's the Mets, D-backs, and Braves right now. The D-backs and Mets are tied, and then the Braves are 1 game back. So we got a lot of baseball left to decide in the final 5 games.
I wanted to talk baseball this week because we're going to have a whole totally different conversation next week. That's why I love baseball, because it's right now, because it's more so than any other race for postseason play. I would feel like this is really exciting.
It breaks my heart though, because like, again, Cubs fan, die-hard Cubs fan. There's a Cubs coffee mug back here behind me. I got Cubs stuff there. We're a big Cubs fan. But I kind of sort of have to root for the Brewers, and I hate that because Brandon Woodruff and Ethan Small both pitched at Mississippi State. Were both like, Woodruff was okay at State, but freaking blossomed in the pros and is an all-pro. Small was a big dominant lefty for us and part of what set us up to win the College World Series in 21. And so it's like, man, like I hate to root for the Brewers, but also like I will root for Dogs, as I was a big Papelbon fan. I know he's kind of out there, but rooted for him with the Red Sox for a long time. So it's a bummer, but like that Brewers team, I'll root for when Woody's pitching. I'll root for him. How about that? Otherwise, they kick rocks.
How many? That's a decent amount of representation from Mississippi State, right?
Yeah, we've got a massive representation of professional baseball, and more on the way. Jake Mangum will be there soon. Yeah, there are 3 hitters that have 38 plus home runs, and I think it's plus 30 stolen bases. There are 3 hitters in baseball. Aaron Judge, pretty good. Yeah. Shohei Ohtani, he's pretty good. And your boy Brent Rooker from Mississippi State, playing for the Oakland Athletics, well, soon to be Las Vegas Athletics. The only thing good about them, besides the ass hats that they released last week, I don't know if you saw that on Twitter. It's one of my favorite things of all time in sports. Yeah. And Brent Rooker, who just can absolutely rake. So I follow the Dogs. We're very well represented in professional baseball. Too bad our team hasn't been representing very well in college baseball recently, but I digress.
Hey.
Professional baseball postseason has it figured out.
Yeah, they do, man. Do you remember when it was the single elimination wildcard games?
Wow. I loved it.
That was like, whoa. I remember just being like, wait, can we do this?
One game? One game. That's all you get. You just gotta bring your best, and I love it. It's just like football, man. You got one chance. You shoot your shot, man.
Play for the game in front of you.
That's it. I understand the analytics and the strategy in baseball. Like I get it. Huge baseball junkie, but like that's kind of fun. You just got to sack up and go beat that team, man. And I love that.
Dude, that's one reason. Another reason why baseball postseason is great. It might be the sport where you can throw analytics and tweak analytics to like build a roster and to win. Doesn't matter in the postseason, brother. You got one game and you just got to score the most. You got to get the most people around them bases.
Baseball, like more than basketball, more than football, it's a sport where you can get hot and make an impact. Like you can have a team like the Colorado Rockies. What year was it? I think it was like 06 where the Colorado Rockies won like 20 out of 22 games or something to close out and ended up making the postseason. They swept all the way to the World Series and then got swept by the Red Sox, but they were just like this wild streak that they went on. Baseball, you can get hot, man, and that's all. It just takes one guy. It takes one hit. You know, I played in this tournament this past weekend. I talked about it here called Wiffle Stock, and it was a blast, right? And we were in an elimination game Saturday night, and we were down like 13-6, and our leadoff guy got up and hit a home run, and it just like we reeled off like 7 runs and just tied the game up, and it's just like you just got to get hot, man. It just takes one guy, one pitcher to have a day. And a whole postseason can turn. I'm getting fired up thinking about it. Dude. That's why baseball is the like one-of-one sports because it's just it's perfect.
One of my favorite lines of any movie ever is in Moneyball. Brad Pitt just goes, "Who says there's nothing romantic about baseball? It's the best. It's the best, man."
I mean, we give Kevin Costner shit on Wednesdays, but one of my favorite baseball movies of all time is For Love of the Game and Field of Dreams. But For Love of the Game is one of my favorite movies, and it's just like it romanticizes that a guy in his 40s can go out and throw. I mean, it's unrealistic like draft day, I get it. But he can go throw a no-hitter in his final start. Like, it can happen.
The only reason I make fun of Costner on Wednesdays is because some of the hardest I've ever wept in my life is at the end of Field of Dreams when he goes, "Hey, Dad, how about a catch?" And I'm just like, oh, my God. It's so good. And it's a ghost person. I don't get it, but it's great. Baseball is awesome. We'll send you some videos right now. We're going to stick with baseball. I haven't told you what when we get back, you might do good here. You might do good. We're going to take a quick break. And then when we get back, we're going to play It's Our Trap. I almost did it like Connery. That would have been weird. It's a trap right after this break.
I think Jabari Smith Jr., I don't want this to be true, but I almost feel maybe Tobias Harris, yo.
What's wrong with Tobias Harris? We've had this discussion. All the guy does is give you a double-double, 20 and 10.
Bro.
That's it. That's it. Every night.
Who?
Tobias Harris.
Stop that. Tobias Harris gives you a double-double 8 times a year. Stop that.
What?
He gives you decent
times a year.
I'm a fan. And this is what I'm saying because I continue to be like, he's a dude he's a tease. It's a tease. It's like, God, dog, he's sexy, but it just won't work. Like he should be, but it's there. But it's just when the games, it's just consistently. I don't know if it's you need more people to believe in it, something. But I don't want, and also just to get lost in the rest in that Houston team.
Tune in to the Night Court podcast with your hosts Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I've always thought Norvell wasn't really that tight to me because I was like, bro, this dude ain't it to me, bro. He left with the humility, and that's the only reason why people ain't destroying his ass right now.
That 2019 year is what supplanted his legacy as like, you know, he's the man. Oh, yeah, but let's not forget, he was one missed 20-yard field goal against Tulsa away from all of that being nothing. That one field goal changed everything. That missed field goal sent them to the AAC championship, brought game day to their place. I mean, that field goal changed a lot of people's careers. Ryan Silverfield wouldn't be here. Norvell wouldn't be in Florida State. It just changed everything. So
yep, that's facts. That's facts. Get him out of here. It'll put Memphis in the pole position to go and do what they gotta do to get to the college football playoff. If you win out, you got a chance to win out if you win this game against Florida State.
How crazy is that going to be?
It's going to be crazy.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I muted myself and I was like, I'm like, hey, welcome back. It's called into
professionals around here.
Yeah, professionals. Hey, I'm ready. It wouldn't be like I know what I'm doing. Welcome to the Daily Grind. We're back. You can catch that show. Night Court. It's awesome. Should drop today, I believe. It's Thursday. I think I got my week right. We got Anthony Shane and the two Bucks will be back tomorrow.
It'll be a good show, guys. Do not miss it. Shameless plug, man. Don't miss it. A lot of good football content.
I would say you're talking college ball, right? Do you guys get into it?
College ball. Absolutely. College ball, professional ball, fantasy football. If you love football, 2 Buck Sports Show tomorrow, 3:00. Me and Uncle Buck gonna chop it up. Let's go.
Heck yeah. And then we also got No Bluffing was this week. Grizz 901 comes back in 2 weeks. I mean, we got a lot.
No Bluffing guys are good, man. If y'all haven't checked them out, they come out on Mondays. 2 young guys, up and comers. Check them out. No Bluffing on Mondays. I think at 12. Awesome show.
Awesome.
Also, real quick sidebar. We hadn't talked about this, but G5 Classified is going to be a wild show coming up. Talking about the Group of 5 football. A lot of Group of 5 news with Matthew Sluka, the quarterback, bowing out because he didn't get his NIL money. Now their running back this morning announced that he's doing the same. Like a lot of turmoil at UNLV. So I'm curious to hear their take on it. It's setting a weird precedent of these guys backing out of these NIL contracts, quote unquote, during the season. I'm curious what's going to happen with that.
Man, this NIL stuff is crazy. G5 Classified, check that out, man. I'm glad you're here because I've forgotten the name of the show every day this week, and I look foolish.
I love it. Gabe and the guys, they're awesome, man. I listen to them every week now.
Yep, that's bluffcitymedia.co. Check it out. You can also check Jess Benson out. She's about to start at Grind City Media. Check all that out. But back to our show. On Thursdays, we like to celebrate Admiral Akbar. He of Almost Ole Miss mascot fame. He of the Rebel Alliance fame. He of meme fame. We celebrate him in a game where there are RIP. The points are made up. The rules don't matter, but here are the rules. There are trivia questions. I'm going to hit you with a series of trivia questions. Roundabouts 10. Half of them are going to be real questions. They're going to be accurate questions pulled from knowledge with an Shelby gets it. Yeah, pulled from knowledge. That's what they say. With actual answers. The other half will be traps. They will be fake. They will have ridiculous answers, and you don't have to say the right answer or the wrong answer. You just have to say yes or it's a trap. You get it. Let's get started. Today's questions will be all based on postseason baseball. It's all going to be pulled from postseason baseball.
Let's go.
Question number 1. What team holds the record for the most World Series titles?
It's real, and that would be the New York Yankees.
Yep. Which is, man, I love that you'd still cool to hate the Yankees. I'm glad that.
Yeah, man. I hate the Yankees because I love baseball. They're the best team money can buy. They always have the worst farm system. They have a $380 million payroll, which is wild. Now, some people get paid that like just themselves. But anyway, I hate the Yankees because I love baseball. We do a whole show on why I hate the Yankees.
I try to keep the swearing minimum. Shit don't change when it comes to hating the Yankees, and I love it.
That's it, man. That's it.
Question number 2. What year did the MLB first implement the wild card system?
Yes.
I remember. Mid-90s. A little bit. It was after the strike, after the players struck in 94. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. Which team won the first ever best of 9 World Series?
It's a trap.
You're right. I don't think that's a rule.
It's a wild series. 9 games. What do you got to win 5?
Yeah, baseball's already long. We don't need a 9-game series. All right. Question number 4. Who is the only player to win a World Series MVP while playing for 2 different teams in the same postseason?
It's a trap.
I don't think you can do that either. I think there's
a trade deadline for a reason.
There's a trade deadline, like all sports. Question number 3. Which player hit the only walk-off home run in a Game 7 of the World Series?
You got to be careful with the semantics here because there's there's been multiple. So I'm gonna say it's a trap.
Nope. It's
Caught myself out of it.
You did. You. I saw you get, and you were like, wait a minute, backtrack.
There's got to be more than one.
We'll see. Walk off in a Game 7.
That's fair.
So it gets a little weird. Question number 6. Yeah. Which stadium hosted the first outdoor World Series game? Played entirely under artificial lights, like robot lights.
Robot lights that move around. It's a trap.
Man, that's not fair. I gave you away that one.
Like midway, I'm like, I got this.
Question number 7. In what year did the MLB expand its postseason to 10 teams?
Yes.
Yep. Do you remember when?
Mhm.
It's recent. It's recent. Yeah, it's like 2022, 2021.
Oh wow.
It was smaller than that. They did the one.
I guess that's fair because they added
card.
the extra wild card. Yeah, that's fair.
Yep. Question number 8. Which team famously wore neon green uniforms during the 1977 World Series to protest their owner, which was a seagull?
Which was a literal seagull? Oh,
an actual seagull. It's a trap. I don't know about the uniforms, but seagulls can't legally own baseball teams. That's also a rule.
I think they can own property in Florida, but that's it.
Oh, that got me.
Florida.
Seagulls own property in Florida. Question number 9. What is the longest drought between World Series titles in MLB history?
Yeah, that's a real thing. That would be your Chicago Cubs.
Man, when they won, I cried. There's a video of me on the floor crying, just like.
I was taking pictures of my TV and tweeting them out. That's how deep I was in Woodford Reserve that night. Just know that.
Yes.
That's all I got to say.
We lived very similar lives back then. Question number 10. Which pitcher threw a no-hitter in Game 6 of the 1984 World Series, but lost due to 25 fielding errors?
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Can you imagine just like
I have played church league softball, so yes, I can imagine.
You did it, man. Fielding errors, kicking the ball all over the place. It's my favorite. My favorite, man. Dude, that's gonna do it, man. Look, I got something for you.
Is it? Let's go.
This is our It's a Trap leaderboard. We got it. You are currently got Rusty at number 1, Musty at number 2, Buckets at number 3, DG at number 4, Fish at number 5, and Uncle Buck in last.
Sucks to suck, sucker.
Hey, it's okay. Those I'm gonna add you back in there, so we'll have some jockeying for position. But congratulations, dude. You win. And you've beat Uncle Buck. Hey, no matter what happens on your show, you just say like, hey, it's a trap, and he'll get it.
It's a trap and fantasy football. It showed a dominance over him last week. 2 for 2, baby. Let's go.
2 for 2. Boom. Love it. That's going to do it for us today, y'all. Thank you for hanging out with us. Happy Thursday. I got to remember my week, man. I called Monday, Wednesday, and now my whole day's off. Enjoy your day. Tomorrow's Friday. Thanks for hanging out with us all. Uncle Buck, Wayno, DG, thank you all. We'll see you tomorrow. If I can leave you with anything today, just 2 little things, 2 small things. Remember to be a little bit weird, just a little bit, and remember to smile. Bye, guys. Have a good one.